Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the greatest known podcast in the goddamn multi-universe. The motherfucking Heel Hook Show. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ashley Lamprey, joined by my brother from another mother, who's hiding because he's got pink eye again, Eddie, the goddamn keyboard warrior.
All right. Hold up a second on the pink eye shit. So I'm watching a video live on YouTube right now. If my face pops up and everyone else can see me, it's your problem. Hold up. Give me a second. I'm doing this. They can see me, motherfucker. You can't see me?
Yo, you're John Cena right now. I can't see you.
Oh, well, then, dude, I don't know. They always boo that guy. But anyway, no, dude, fuck that. Everyone else can see me. That's your computer's thumbs up.
Damn. So, well, it's weird, though, because, like, as far as it's concerned, they can't see my picture when I'm talking. It's just showing me the little fucking emoticon, not the logo, and it's not showing me you either.
Okay, well, just to keep your mind at ease, people on YouTube can see both of us, so we're good.
My bad. Okay, Eddie doesn't have
No, hey, whatever. UK YouTube took a shit like 2 days ago. What the fuck was that about?
Yeah, I was going to say, for people who don't know, we were going to go on a couple of days ago, and we were going to obviously talk about the fallout of, you know, the lightweight title fight between Khabib and Tony Ferguson. But YouTube decided it was going to crash. I personally blame Tony Ferguson. I think it was all his fault. I think he broke YouTube, you know, and then obviously some lady got really, really pissed off and she went in there and started shooting folks. So she wasn't happy about it either. So.
Oh, real quick, just on that, did you see like how crazy that chick might have been? Like, she was upset that her videos weren't getting monetized, right? So
that was
that was one of the reasons she got upset. She called it censorship and an attack on her First Amendment rights. So she so whatever, dude. She fucking they took her channel down pretty fucking quick, right?
No.
And, yeah, they took her channel down pretty goddamn quick, and but some people, like, you know how people do. They took fucking, you know, they downloaded the video and put it up themselves. I watched some of her shit. Oh my god, awful fucking content. Chick, they didn't demonetize you because you didn't have anyone watching. All right? That's what it was. You suck. Her videos were god awful, dude. Right? She would say nothing and just bitch about First Amendment rights the whole time.
I can't even say I'm surprised, though, because in fairness, my first assumption, and sorry, guys, if any of you guys are pro, but my first assumption is that people were, you know, she was one of those, you know, pro-gun chicks. So I thought it was going to be one of those. I'm not going to lie.
I legit thought I was going to be one of those gun channels, like somebody finally lost her shit. And I was like, God damn. But no, and everyone was like, oh, she's a white woman. Turns out she wasn't. Like, it's not a good look. If you look up who she is, like a lot of conservative people over here are throwing the Muslim ban, like the Muslim shit on it now. I'm like, yo, it had nothing to do with that. The bitch was pissed that she got demonetized. Chill the fuck out. But
anyway, back to the subject at hand. Let's get into this motherfucking mess, this stinky, steamy mess that is UFC 223. It's turned out good. What was your first thoughts? Because obviously this is the first time I've had to properly talk to you about it, like person to person. What was your first thoughts when you heard that Tony Ferguson had been pulled?
April Fools. That's what I thought. Shit. Just like everybody else, with any goddamn common sense. I literally, dude, no shit, no joke. About maybe 45 minutes before the news broke, I legit tweeted out, I'm not believing any bullshit today. Because, come on, the week of a Khabib Nurmagomedov fight, okay, you're going to get April Fools? Like, for sure some shit was going to come out, oh, Khabib didn't make weight. Khabib ate too much tiramisu, whatever the fuck. I did not think for a second it would be Tony. But, you know, I tweeted that out. 45 minutes later, Ferguson's out of the fight. And Max Holloway's in, and I got a good laugh out of it because I was one of the few that remember that press conference, right, where Khabib and Tony were talking to each other, and Max is like, "Shit, I'd fight either one of them," right? Yeah. So I was like, "That makes sense." So that's a good April Fool's joke, right? Fuck. Then I see Dana White's video, and I'm like, "This son of a bitch taking it too far," but okay, Dana, you got me, dog. Then Brett Okamoto goes on ESPN and puts it out there. That's when I was like, oh shit, like this could be real. Like I was tweeting you immediately. I was like, hey dog, you see this shit? And like neither one of us believed it for a second, but then I saw it on Okamoto and Ariel Helwani, and everyone's like, oh dude, everyone's the whole April Fool's joke. I'm like, you have to get those three on the same page. That's not gonna happen.
When I saw Ariel first, and then I saw Dana second, I was like, it can't be fake because those two would never work together for an April Fool's. Like, you couldn't pay them, either of them, enough money to work together again.
Yeah, I was like, this is the worst April Fool's joke ever because it's believable. And then when it turns out it's real, I mean, Brian Butler, who's Tony's manager, I believe, the Tony manager. Yeah, no, Max Holloway's manager. My bad. Yeah. Max Holloway's manager, fucking confirmed. Yeah, Max is on his way to Brooklyn. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And now it's a reality. I thought for sure, like April 2nd, they're like, we're just fucking with you. Max and Max Holloway tried to play it off on a fucking Instagram video saying, do you see that shit? He goes on Instagram and he goes, we're just fucking with you guys, man. I'm just gonna be a guest fighter. And then maybe little while later, he's like, I'm fucking with you guys. I'm fighting. We're here to fight. My manager thought it was a good idea. It was an awful idea.
The next question I want to pose as soon as all this was said, because we'll go into the Max stuff, but I just want to throw this out there first and foremost. What did you think to Brian Ortega offering to take the fight because he was asked whilst they were waiting to hear if Max would, and eventually, obviously, we found out that Max has taken the fight, etc., etc. But how do you feel about the fact that the UFC actually entrusted Ortega as a potential person to replace Tony Ferguson? And what are your thoughts on Brian Ortega obviously taking that or offering to at least take the fight?
Oh man, that would have been fire. I might be more excited for that fight than this one, for the fact that Brian Ortega gives no fucks where the fight is gonna go. You know what I mean? Like, and he's very proficient on the ground. And sure, I get it. Khabib's Khabib, fucking sambo, specialist, mass murder on the ground. But Brian Ortega's a bad motherfucker off his back. Like, there's not that many guys in UFC and MMA as a whole that are that good off their back, right? So I would have been pumped as fuck for that fight. Even more if he had like a full camp. That being said, come on, man, the juicy fight. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you can get a champion or a contender. Probably taking the champion, especially if you're UFC and you just lost this fight again. So dude, that fight would have been fire, dude. I'd have been like, woo, let's go in the ground.
That was one of those few fights that you look at in the future, and obviously with all being said and everything being well, because we do know that Ortega has stated that he will be moving up to lightweight in the near future. Maybe this is the perfect opportunity to force his hand. Say if Max Holloway does win it, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I know everybody keeps on talking about the Conor thing. Let's leave that for a moment, though. The fact is, though, is we do have a legit person who could turn around and say, I will fight Max at 145. I would also fight him at 155. So that's a potential thing that we could see in either of those divisions, because I'm not going to lie, I personally think that we're going to see Max go up as well. So the future looks really, really bright for the lightweight division, even though there's a lot of fuckery going on right now.
I could see this being what forces Max to 155, man. If Max somehow wins on Saturday.
Let's say somehow, if he wins.
Huh?
Yeah, I don't like when people say somehow, because they make
you
can't do it. That's what I'm saying.
To be fair, I'm Team Holloway. I'm picking this motherfucker, but honestly, part of it is because he's just such a fucking war. He's a gangster, man. Like, yeah, okay, 6 days out, I'm a champion. I'll fight you. I don't give a shit, right? But I'm a fan of Holloway's, and I'm picking him for sure. Especially because everyone's like giving him no chance. But let's say he wins. Okay, he wins on Saturday, beats Khabib. He's the second champ that we have. I think he drops the 145 belt. He just sticks up. You know what I mean? Well, because it's easier to make that weight.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree with you. I would be just very surprised if he didn't try to at least defend it once against Ortega. Just because. I don't want to go into a thing on Conor again, because this is just a key thing. It's very important. And Max turned around and said that he's in the press conference just a short while ago, that everything he's doing is not for money, it's for legacy.
Yep.
So to overthrow and kind of, if he was to win the lightweight title, he has to defend that featherweight. Otherwise, he's in the same bracket as Conor. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if we're on short notice, any of that bullshit.
Right.
The facts and everything that stands around it is he won the lightweight title, he was the featherweight title. Did he defend the featherweight title? No.
Wasn't it once against Jose, or am I wrong on that?
Yeah, but in fairness, it's a rematch, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So, do you know what I'm saying?
Okay, technically he's defending. Very technically.
You know I get what you're saying. That was,
in
fairness, that was on short notice as well, because if you remember, he was supposed to fight against Frankie Edgar. So.
Right. Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I mean, very technically, he did defend the title, but I get what you say. Should defend it against a worthy contender that wasn't a rematch. I get that. That being said, I mean, even he said he's like I'd be the only champ to ever defend a belt at least, which is a shot at Conor, whatever.
Yeah, of course. Regardless.
So I want to be surprised with the kind of bad motherfucker Holloway is that he tried to defend both at least once while he holds them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he
I think
defends one
featherweight, and then obviously he'll move up and he'll drop that featherweight belt.
Yeah, he defends featherweight against Ortega, win or lose, moves up, I think. Okay. And then defends the lightweight title. Who knows what that situation looks like, but defends it and then see what happens.
I just want to address something that Raider had in the comment. Shout out to Raider, UC, and there was somebody else up in here as well. Who else was in this bitch? They were the mates in the chat, right? So so basically, they were saying that so Dana really didn't say Ferguson was going to hold the interim belt, but said that he's still the #1 contender. So there's no interim belt, right? So from what I understand from watching the press conference, it seems as if basically they're making it so that this fight is for the undisputed title, and I think that they're just taking away that Tony Ferguson quote unquote interim belt because this was going to be for the title, and they are stripping Conor McGregor. So therefore, this title this weekend is for the title because obviously he wasn't able to, defend his belt per se. The interim title being bumped up to the undisputed, he is no longer the champion. So therefore, Tony Ferguson will be the #1 contender still because he's the #1 ranked guy by default. But he won't have an interim title because there is nothing to have interim about it. The title has been taken off Conor McGregor and it has been put on the line this weekend. So therefore, Tony Ferguson doesn't have that interim. But the interim title is a #1 contendership anyway. It doesn't count because by that account, if I remember correctly, wasn't Carlos Condit an interim champion?
He was interim champion after he ran away from Nick Diaz for 5 rounds. Yeah.
Hey.
I'm fucking with you. I like Condit. I'm
not pro. Condit. I'm not negative on Diaz. But win's a win, innit? There's numerous guys we could say that. We could say GSP laid on people for 5 rounds for pretty much. Yeah. So whatever you want to do. But the point being is though is they don't. It doesn't class as a title. So for me, it's a #1 title. It's a #1 contendership. It's a golden ticket. That's all it is. It's just a big shiny ticket. So regardless, he's the #1 contender. Unfortunately, he had to drop out. But moving back to where we were on the subject matter. Just to briefly get into I just want to kind of go over the conversation me and you were going over on the DMs earlier about the whole Conor and Nate thing, just to kind of in between this, because I feel like it's important to put this narrative out there. I'm going to make a bold statement. It's kind of negative to myself as well as to you, I'm sure you'll agree.
Sure. But
is there any worse fans in the world right now than Conor Nate fans?
Not even close. Like I thought Khabib fans were the worst because they're like, Khabib time. They're not even that bad right now.
Worse than Cyborg fans. I think I can
genuinely do that. Oh, that one hurts a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Cyborg fans are shit. No, not all of them. Just like the real cunty ones that won't recognize facts. But anyway, no, I'm with you, dude. There isn't, because both sides are talking right now, and neither fight is fighting. Like neither one has a fight lined up. Neither one has said that has even hinted really, other than Conor saying, "Oh, we'll fight again," but never says when. Nate, everyone says he turns down fights, and he probably wants to get paid more money. We're taking the same, game plan as his brother, but who knows? It's dude. There's no one worse right now, dude. Who the fuck is worse? Fuck.
Like I say, there's for me, there's no other fans that I think are worse, and the reason why I say this is just for the people who are watching. For me personally, whenever I look at the whole Conor thing, I understand there's a lot of negativity because of obviously, the crossover. So I understand a lot of people are, negative towards that. I was joking with Eddie earlier on because me and him were shooting the shit, and I was saying that, well, it's all good and well, people taking digs at Conor, but at least Conor's fought in some kind of way since, fighting. Nate hasn't done anything but talk from the sidelines. So I was just kind of posing the thing that hey, at least he's fought somebody in some kind of way.
He's been on TV. What can I say? He's been on TV. Hey, no, I just like that we understand this well enough, and we understand the sport well enough that we can go back and forth and not get like super emotional and understand we're just fucking with each other, to where other people take it so serious to get emotional and angry about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've talked to like Conor McGregor fans in person that get fucking lit up because I say, yeah, well, your boy tapped to Nate. So y'all lost. And that second fight, you guys won by points. Let's be real. Let's be real. And like, I'm fucking around, but they get super fucking like angry. And I'm sitting back laughing because I'm like, you serious? Taking this serious? Like it's taking away, like it's gonna take away money from your pocket because I'm fucking about with your guy. Like, chill the fuck out.
I just think it's hilarious though. I genuinely believe this, and I've said this numerous times. Conor and Nate are the same. The two sides of the same coin. Like they're 100% are. Like if you're a hardcore fan and you watched it pre-Conor, you're a Nate fan. And if you're not, then if you watched it from that kind of 2012, 11-ish kind of era onwards, if you're kind of a modern fan, I don't like to use the casual fan because I think there's a lot of intelligent fans that are Conor McGregor fans. You know, we spoke to numerous ones. Like I put it this way, and I'm not saying this guy's a casual fan, obviously, because I think he's one of the most. I don't want to say like intelligent, but he has a vast knowledge. And when we talked to Brad from Cage Warriors, like he knows so much, and he's a Conor fan. So it's like, are you going to genuinely tell me that you know more than him when he can recite off all kinds of craziness? It's like, come on, let's be real. Do you know what I mean? Secret Moves, Justin, another guy. Justin, you know, there's loads of people, but the thing is though, is like both of these guys do the exact same shit. And, you know, I'm really, really happy now that we're in this position right now where, you know, the division's going to move on, because regardless of if Conor or if Nate fights, you know, like we've just mentioned, you've got Max more than likely going to move up. Ortega more than likely going to move up. You've got Ferguson that's going to be returning after this injury. I heard that he might be having surgery, so I don't know what the time scale for that return is. And then obviously you've got Khabib. We get to see where he kind of stands in this. And it's not exactly like Justin Gaethje can't get back in the mix. Justin Poirier's on a nice tear. There's a lot of people in this division that could make a nice run at things in the future. So the future looks bright.
155 is going to look really good no matter who the champion is. The 155 looks really good. Like, no matter who is 155 champ, they once again very shortly will have a whole division to clean out again if they really want to defend it, right? As long as they defend, that's how it's going to go. Now, the thing about Conor is, and I forgot who I was listening to that was making this point, that he's more about history, making history than it is. I think, I mean, history. Oh, Rogan and Schaub were on live earlier today, right. And they were talking. Or I think I want to say it was Schaub. He had a decent point. No, it might have been Rogan that said, I think Conor's more about challenges and history, and that's why, you know, he hasn't been super active. Maybe, I mean, who knows? I mean, we can go a million different ways with that.
We're tangent when we kind of thought about what you just said. Sure. And I'm not saying that he's the greatest of all time before anybody gets aggy and gets salty and shit. Would it be fair to compare him to LeBron James in that aspect, like stacking stats?
Stacking stats. Man, I don't know, because LeBron James loaded up a team, won 2 titles, went home to a loaded team that he kind of engineered from the outside. I don't know. I think it's hard. It's hard to pick that.
In concept of, like, you know, you can't be the greatest of all time because, you know, Conor's not going to fight 25.
Okay. So you're saying just stacking the numbers up, and then you're in the
like when you look at who's the first ever double champion, you know, who had the fastest ever finish in a title fight? Him. Do you know what I mean? Like, you look at the things that who had the highest gate, who had the biggest track, like all these kind of things aren't something that realistically you're going to say he's the greatest of all time.
I think that people will make the argument.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. But you could say about LeBron James. Like LeBron James this past week, what was it? He eclipsed Michael Jordan in the most amount of consecutive games. I think it was 800 something, where he scored more than 10 points.
10 points. Yeah, 876 straight games. 876 straight games.
Yeah, but you've got to take into consideration Michael Jordan also missed, I think it was 3 years of that time. So that
fair enough. 100%. Fair enough.
I know. But yeah, you get my point as far as like the stacking of stats. Like you wouldn't necessarily say that makes you the greatest of all time, but it's a nice way to argue the case.
Right, and that's probably what he wants, is to be at least have it be argued, because then people will talk about it forever. You know what I mean? They'll be talking LeBron versus Michael Jordan for the next 5-6 decades, man. Like, because you don't get it. LeBron James. LeBron James is a once in a lifetime athlete. You know what I mean? So interesting. Just on that, somebody put out or somebody made this. You know how Twitter makes those moments, things, and they put a ton of slides on it. They put a bunch of gifs, right? Comparing like LeBron. It's like, oh, you know, LeBron never be the best. He never played he never played defenses like Michael Jordan played.
Oh, you said.
And it showed. Yeah. Okay. So I got bored and I looked up and I watched a few of the biggest games Michael Jordan played in.
I'm just saying this though.
Yeah, I know. But other than like flagrant fouls, the defenses weren't better back then. They were tougher, but they weren't like better defenses. So that's kind of I would love to be able to switch those two eras and just to see how many titles LeBron James would have won.
But with that same thing said though, if the defense isn't as tough now as it was then, you're not going to take as many bumps. Then
sure.
You know, your longevity is easier. And you've got to take into consideration, Michael Jordan was what, 6'6", 216?
Yeah, different players, still different players. So
he's having to get into the paint because a lot of the times, you know, we do know that he could shoot the three, but that the game wasn't played with the three. Anyway, we're going on something.
Yeah, more.
We could do that on another. But so basically going back to the Max Holloway Khabib fight, do you think that Khabib should be considered a vast favorite, or do you think this is a lot more even than people think?
Dude, it should be the vast favorite. I mean, fuck, undefeated. First of all, let's just go with that. Undefeated. Okay?
Padded.
Yeah. Yes, padded. I actually agree, but undefeated. Okay. And I mean, dude, the guy's been training his ass off and shit. Max Holloway got the call. He said it. Max Holloway said himself. I forgot what show he was on. He was I don't know. He was on like some kind of interview on TV saying like, man, just 48 hours ago, I was playing Fortnite with my kid back in Hawaii. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like now we're here in like, Brooklyn. So it's like, it's just based off of that. I mean, look, how much, is Holloway in shape? Coming off an injury, is he able to fight? To his potential. There's so many little things, little details that are involved in this fight that who fucking knows, man. I don't know, because the thing is with me, with the whole like, will he be 100% athletically and stuff like that? A part of me wonders, like, it depends on his walk around weight, because if he only has to cut to 155, we've seen numerous, and he's a big 145. Let's put that into perspective as well. It's not like Khabib's going to dwarf him. That's one thing that we all know. That Max is a big 145er. So do we really think that like Khabib's going to have the size and mass advantage? Well, no, because we know that Max cuts a lot of weight. We also know that Max cuts a lot of weight and he has great cardio, even though he has to do a really, really big weight cut. So maybe his cardio won't be tremendous, but then again, maybe it will be just as good because he doesn't have to cut as much weight. Like maybe if he walks around at say 165, which is probably a good weight, probably walks around it. If he only has to cut maybe 10 pounds, or maybe even if he cuts, maybe 12 or 13, just to give him that little bit of a space, he's going to be fine. I mean, okay, let's say athletically he's fine. Okay. I mean, if you don't have repetitions constantly about what you're doing, you're not gonna forget, but it's not gonna be a fine-tuned technique. It might even be like when Nate came into 196 and he needed that first round to warm up and get his shit together. And in the second round, he actually looked pretty good. Obviously went on to win, but maybe Max Holloway's gonna be the same thing. The difference with this is that, to me, is that Khabib is such a swarming force. Like he will suffocate you from bell one. You know what I mean? As soon as they go, all right, fight, fucking, he's in your face. Feinting, looking for shots, looking for, looking at to hit you with 1, 2, 3, and then shoot for the single or that double. It's I think that's the reason. That's the only reason why I would say that he should be the favorite. And he has a full camp and everything. But on a different fighter though. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, look, it is a different fight. It's a different fight for both guys. I mean, 100%, but that Max has been eyeing up Khabib, whereas Khabib has not had Max on his radar. Let's be honest. So you think it might be almost like, not completely exactly like, but similar to a Cody Garbrandt, who trained specifically for like, Dominic Cruz for years. Not you, I mean, you know what I'm saying, right? Like he trained specifically knowing I'm gonna fight this guy one day. I better be ready just in case. And then he gets to fight and win. So maybe something like that, you think?
Well, yeah, because at the end of not to the same extent, because we know Team Alpha Male, obviously, like you say, have been fucking trying to crack that code for a long time. But the fact still remains is, Max is looking at everything. He knows he's going to have to go up at 155 at one point. He's stated numerous times.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Khabib has, let's be honest, Khabib's been working. Let's not even beat around the bush here. Khabib has been planning and plotting that Tony Ferguson fight to the point where, if anything, imagine if Cody Garbrandt had been fighting Dominic Cruz, and then all of a sudden he's having to fight against. I'm trying to think of a dude at one, like Dodson. I'm just trying to think of a 135. But like, for the sake of somebody who's completely different in how they fight, imagine if you were, Cody Garbrandt, you've been training all this time knowing I'm going to fight Dominic Cruz, training knowing I'm going to fight this one guy for so long, and then all of a sudden you're fighting somebody who's got a completely different style. Like, that's going to throw your head off. And I don't care what anybody says, Khabib has probably been working on how to, compete against that 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, because we know that he's trained with the Danaher Death Squad. So we know he's been working on how to kind of, negate that 10th Planet style. We know that. That's something we know, because let's be honest, Tony's got good wrestling, but it's not like he can't be taken down. He's good off of his bat, though. We know that. But the difference is now, instead of going, I know I'm going to take him down, I've got to really focus on my defense when I'm on the ground. Now it's a case of, can he take Max Holloway down? Now, I want to just put a little stat out there, because I don't know if you saw this or not, but it kind of made me laugh, to be completely honest. Luke Thomas put a tweet out. Since the Collard bout in 2014, Max Holloway hasn't given up a single takedown in the UFC. He's stopped 9 of 10 attempts in that bout. Since then, his opponents, Aldo, Pettis, Lamas, Stevens, Oliveira, Swanson, Miller, and Coracina. Am I pronouncing that? Coracina? Anyway, have gone 0 for 29 takedowns. 0 in 27 takedown attempts. Now, I just want to put this out there, though, right? With all them fights, that sounds really impressive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Bear this in mind. The average with that amount of fights means that there was only 3.3 takedowns per fight.
3.2. So he fought strikers, really.
Exactly. How many, if we're talking about it, think about that. All those names that I just reeled off for you, and the average amount of takedowns between all of them is only 3.3. Is that really that impressive? Like, I'm not saying that Max isn't a good grappler, but he's good when he's on top. But we saw, and I know this is a long time ago. I know it is. And I am going to put this out there because it's very important. He got wrestle-fucked by a one-legged Conor McGregor.
He did. And right now, just because I just Googled, I YouTubed Max Holloway takedown defense. He has Ricardo Lama shooting for a single leg and uses that whizzer over the top to basically stop it. And I don't know if that'll work against a guy like Khabib. You know what I mean? Like, look, we're trying to compare different fighters now and figure out how the whole takedown defense thing. It's very difficult for me to not see Khabib take him down multiple times. It's whether and look, first of all, are they saying? I mean, I saw like the side by side picture. They're like facing off, whatever. But Max Holloway doesn't look smaller than Khabib, and everyone's saying he's smaller. I'm like, how is he smaller? He's got range. He's got range on Khabib. All right, motherfuckers. Like, you could possibly think. I mean, he's sharp enough that he can keep Khabib at bay with the jab. You know what I mean? Khabib will still dive and everything. It's whether he can get through that reach, which is I think it's a huge advantage, but it's an advantage. Get through that and then take a single.
I'm just because off the top of my head, because obviously this is something that I think is vastly important to bear in mind. Because we've only seen one real dent in Khabib's armor, and that was at UFC 205 against Michael Johnson.
Yeah,
who was lighting him up. If we're being completely honest, and everybody can make out. Yeah, but what did you do afterwards? 100% agree with you, but I don't think Michael Johnson is the the better striker out of these two. I personally think Max Holloway is a better striker, and obviously I do believe that Conor is a better striker. But do you know off the top of your head if Max Holloway is a southpaw or not? Because I don't believe he is.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he's orthodox.
I think he can switch stance though. I think he has one of those.
Oh, he's very ambidextrous. Have you ever seen him fight? He's really. That's why it makes him so dangerous, because he can change game plans. He can change stances. He can do whatever he wants.
I'm very intrigued to see if he'll employ a southpaw stance, because obviously that was the one time that we actually saw him struggle in context of far as like coming in and getting hit with that powerful left. So
what is Tony Ferguson, southpaw or orthodox?
I'm sure he's a southpaw.
Tony Ferguson, so he's trained for a lefty. Okay.
True. Different fighters.
A different.
Think of like how people throw this, because I would never in a million years compare the way that Tony strikes to way Max. Max is a very boxing heavy. Yeah,
and he's not gonna have to worry about like cartwheel kicks and shit like that with Max Holloway. So I mean, like the reason I was pumped about this fight is, first of all, it was like the fourth time they fucking booked this shit. Fourth time it fails. Fifth time.
The next will be fifth. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, this was the fourth time where it failed. Like it just failed every time. So I was like, finally, we're gonna get this fight. But second, Tony Ferguson doesn't give a fuck. He'll try stupid shit in the middle of a huge fight just to see what happens. I mean, we've seen him do it. So it's that's what get me excited about this fight for sure. But Max Holloway is going to be a problem in a different way. Ambidextrous, very fluid, can change. Now, I wonder, can he handle the kind of pace Khabib can put on him? We've seen Khabib put pace on guys that's exhausting. Now, Holloway's cardio is up to par. It's ready. He's good to go. I mean, there's different cardio on the ground than there is standing, right?
Sure.
So I wonder if Max Holloway can take that kind of pressure.
I think for me, I believe that he will be able to for at least the first few rounds. But the thing is, though, and I'll put this out there again, we haven't seen Khabib in the fourth and the fifth.
That's true.
So what happens? Because say Max just outlasts him for the first 2-3 rounds, and just holds him in a lot of positions, gets the ref to stand it up, and maybe he does lose the first 2 or 3 rounds.
All right.
But we know when he's stood up on the feet, we know that Max can keep on going when he's on the feet.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things that not a lot of people are talking about. Can Khabib compete in the championship rounds? If it goes there, everybody turns around and says, "Look at how it goes in the third round." Yeah, but when there's no fourth or fifth, you can put everything into the third.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point you make, because I mean, like I said, we're never going to go that far. But on top of that, it's like at the pace that he goes, yeah, he can gas out in the third. He can go all out in the third when there's only 3 rounds. 2 more rounds. So you're thinking maybe Max Holloway is going to play he's going to play the waiting game. Like, all right, bitch, I'm just going to hang with you here. And because look, first of all, everyone's talking about he's going to get mauled. Like every tweet, I tweeted out earlier today that no one's untouchable in combat sports. Okay. And Max Holloway Max Holloway has a shot this weekend, and everyone's like, he's going to get smashed. He's going to get mauled. He's going to get destroyed. I don't know about that.
Raider just put in the comments, if they stand for a while, I wonder if Khabib will try and chop Holloway's legs. That isn't 100%. I will put it on God, he will not go for that leg unless it's to take it down. There is no way Khabib is throwing a leg kick, because if he does, there's a fucking cross coming straight over the top, and he's getting lit. Khabib does. When he was fighting against Johnson, the main thing he was getting caught was with the left cross, and there's no way on God's green earth he's going to risk throwing a kick. It'd be a sound strategy if he was a good kicker. Khabib, in my opinion, is a very sloppy striker. He kind of throws like looping shots, and it's very awkward. And I think it's very easy to counter if you're a very good striker. I think that he punches for the sake of getting close, which is fine. It works. I don't begrudge it. He's very good at it, but he's not going to try and stand with Max, and he's not going to try and trade strikes. Right. I feel if he throws one leg kick and Max catches him with one cross and knocks him on his ass, Khabib will not throw another leg kick for that entire fight.
Yeah, look. Let's say that for some reason, AKA is like, we're going to do leg kicks, which I don't think Javier Mendez, who is an accomplished kickboxer in his day, all right, would ever say, yeah, we're gonna go for that leg. No way. He's gonna be like, he's gonna do what everyone knows he's gonna do, is takedowns, right? Play the sambo game, take the wrestling game, whatever. Yeah, dude, look, we saw what Michael Johnson did to him on the feet. Okay. We know what Max Holloway was capable of. I think if he look a sloppy single leg, he's gonna eat a few shots. A kick, he's gonna need a few shots. It's just, I don't know. It's such an intriguing fight, dude. It's fun. It's gonna be fun. I just hope Max can survive. I don't say it's about too many championship fights. I hope it goes all 5, like in a competitive manner. I actually want to see this go all 5. Like the Tony Khabib fight, I want to see that go all 5 because I want to see what these guys do to each other within 5 rounds. Most championship fights, I'm like, fuck it, let's finish this shit, knock somebody out.
My thing is I wonder if this will end up turning out like the Romero Whitaker fight. That's what I'm intrigued to see if it ends up like that, in the context of if he closes low with trying to take him down, trying to pressure him and everything. And then by the later rounds, obviously, we saw Whitaker finish.
Whitaker took that fight on short notice too, right? Am I right?
I believe so. Yeah, he did. Because, he did. Yeah, he did. So
we got similar... other than maybe I think Whitaker might have gotten like 2 weeks, right? Or something like that. But
still, he's not exactly... Yeah, I'm putting it this way. Max isn't exactly one of those guys who... I'd say he has one of the best cardio outputs as far as in general. Sure. I think it's a fair thing to put out there.
Okay. Let's look at this. So let's get a couple of predictions here. Let's say Khabib wins. They give him the microphone. Who's he calling out? Or what's he saying?
He's calling out Conor for that. Well, apparently he doesn't want to fight in Russia. He wants to fight in Madison Square Garden next. So don't be surprised. Because Conor out for Madison Square Garden, which is I think November. It usually is in November. So I think that's nailed on. If you
that would make sense. Dana White's saying that he thinks Conor come back in September or something like that. So November will be fine. Okay, let's say Max Holloway wins.
I'm gonna just copy and paste here, my guy.
You know what? I agree with you on Khabib. I'm Max Holloway. I disagree. I think that guy's just gonna be happy and be like, "I'm the champ, bitch, whatever." That's the shit. No, and then move on. I don't think he'll call anybody out.
I will predict his word for word speech will be along the lines of, "I'm the real champ. If you want to come back, Conor, it is what it is."
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be fucking sick. Did you see that shit he said on the embedded? He's like Triple G says, big drama show. Like, I love that. Big drama show.
Canelo and Triple G is a whole.
Man.
We'll just leave that out in the wood.
That shit is depressing for me. Okay?
Boxing. Get your shit together,
motherfucker. Man, why can't you just be careful what you eat?
Bad when you get caught in boxing for PEDs, we'll call it that.
Look. Drug testing in boxing is still an intelligence test. If you get caught, you're a fucking idiot. That's 100% what it is. You know why? Because, dude, they try to not catch you. Their main goal is to not catch you. So when you get caught,
to have the last big money fight in boxing. Like, how badly must you have done on a fucking drug test to get caught for the last big fight in boxing? For now.
And look, he withdrew from the fight, which tells me one of two things. One, he's sincere about fighting this thing. Or two, he was like, shit, I'm gonna pop again. I better get the fuck out of here so they don't test me again and ruin my PR or ruin my name.
Which is a trip. Additional to that, though, I just want to bring up, because we're going to break down the rest of the card later on this week, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show. So we will talk about the whole Joanna fight. We'll break that down properly later on. We'll just talk about the press conference today between Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Rose Namajunas, the champion. So we'll just break that down, just the press conference and the interaction between them both and whatnot. And then we'll do all the big breakdowns.
Okay. So just disclaimer: I didn't even get to watch it. I was driving. Listen, I was listening to Charles Hamilton, who you were telling me about earlier. That album's fire. Okay, now I got that shit on my phone. But I didn't get to see it. Was Joanna? Okay, tell me this: did Joanna change, or is she the same?
Joanna seems very humbled.
Oh, what's up? Hey, look, that's a good sign for Joanna. Okay, you know why? Because like that means she changed a little bit. She changed something, right? Because had she come in with the same shitty attitude, you know, I'm Boogie Woman and all fucking, you know, like you know, all Ronda issues are bullshit. Like I'd have been like, she didn't change shit. She's gonna get fucked up.
Well, I've seen a lot of people criticizing Joanna because she's changed a nutritionist, she's changed like a manager, loads of stuff. But the thing is, though, is at the end of the day, for people who are criticizing her for changing things and saying, "Oh, she's using it as an excuse," I'm sorry. Professional athletes, if they don't feel comfortable with the team they're working with and they don't make a change, are bigger idiots than the ones that don't.
See Ronda Rousey at Glendale Fight Club. Okay.
I rest my case. I just personally think that I'm a big fan of both of these ladies. I think they're incredible martial artists, and you know, personally, this is one of my favorite fights, just period, because it was one of my favorite female fights ever to be made the first time round. I was pumped as hell when this was made in the first.
You were a little bummed out.
I was bummed out when one had to lose.
Yeah.
I wasn't bummed out that the fight was happening.
Right. You were bummed out that. Yeah, you don't want someone
fighters to ever, you know, grace the octagon as far as the females are concerned, especially. You know, these two are far beyond most. You know what I mean? Because it's all good and well. Like I was a big fan of the whole Ronda explosion. I'm not going to lie, I was on the hype train, and I still think that she's one of the greatest mixed martial artists ever. She broke boundaries and all that kind of other stuff. But that's a whole different kettle of fish. But the point being is, though, is these two women still carried my attention. It wasn't just Ronda or nothing. These two women, in my opinion, deserve so much credit for carrying, as far as like the women's movement in mixed martial arts. In my honest opinion, I think Rose derailed so many hype trains. You know, Joanna was absolutely destroying chick after chick after chick. So, like I say, this fight for me is very interesting. But I think that a lot of people did Joanna dirty after she lost, because everybody loved Joanna when she was talking dirt and she was being disrespectful before. But then all of a sudden, when she lost after being disrespectful, this, that, and the other, everybody was hating on her, saying that she were a bad person, this, and the other. You were all the same people, not you, Eddie, but you were all the same people who loved it before. So stop being hypocrites, get out your own ass, and, you know, look at the fucking shit that you were tweeting fucking 12 months ago when you were calling her the baddest chick in the world when she was beating Jessica Andrade. Get the fuck out.
Okay. Remind me, I gotta say something in a second. Here's the thing with Joanna and Rose. Joanna, after she said I'm not gonna make excuses, she made all the excuses. So I see why people get, you know, are giving her shit. I got annoyed as fuck with it too. I was like, why are you making? Just shut up. You're a former champion now.
She didn't make excuses straight away after the press conference, though. She did let it die down for like 2 weeks.
And then she let loose. She let all this shit loose. But the performers, I forget, they're weight cut people. She went with George Lockhart now, right? Like a legit weight cutter. Before it was just some lady who started her own thing. I mean, as far as I don't know anything about I don't know very much about the performance athletes, whatever they used to call it. But you're right. If you stay at a shit spot, it's like, you know, the definition of insanity is doing the same fucking thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. That's exactly why she had to change. So I applaud it. I don't like the fact that she somewhat blamed them for her loss, saying the weight cut was tough and all that. Whatever. But look, we're looking ahead now. All right. She made the change. From all reports or thoughts or whatever the fuck people were saying, she looks good. Looks like the weight cut's going well. George Lockhart's saying he's pleasantly surprised it's going as well as it is.
She was at 120. I think it was yesterday or the day before already.
Yeah, which means all she has to do is take a shit and she makes 115. So she's good to go. Okay. Now, real quick, this is interesting to me because we were just talking about a potential, say, Conor Khabib fight. Okay. I'm seeing this from Twitter. That Moscow card that was supposed to be a fight night, it looks like, this is off of Wikipedia, so take it as you will. It's probably bullshit, but it might be bullshit, whatever. It looks like it's been changed to UFC 228.
I've heard that because it's in September. So
yeah, so they're gonna do a pay-per-view in Moscow, Russia.
They said that Dana said that that's 100% happening. Is the Russian card, but Khabib doesn't want to be on it. Apparently, he wants to fight on the November. But makes sense because but who is it? Ramadan, the thing that he does over the summer, the religious,
right? That's the fasting.
Yeah, the fasting thing that he does. But if he does that over the entire summer, he probably doesn't want to fight in September.
That's probably true. It's probably true. That being said, don't tell me if he wins on Saturday that Dana won't try to push him for it.
Yeah, but he tried to push him before for UFC 200 and he wouldn't do it.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, well, whatever. I want to see who they throw in there as being a main event.
So if you're looking at the main event, you have numerous people really. I know this is going to sound aggy, but there's a lot of people who you can throw in there. You know, you could quite easily throw Shevchenko, you know, for the 125 belt.
As a main event?
Yeah, but I'm just saying this though.
It has to be the right opponent.
Well, no, because she's going to fight against the champion, isn't she? Like, that's who Shevchenko will fight. Like, that's just...
Oh, dude. Sorry, I forgot there was a champion 125. That's my bad.
Oh, shame.
No, I legit forgot. Who is it? Who is it for real?
That's his name.
See? Okay.
We spoke about her since she won the title.
I don't know her name.
Okay, then, hold on. Hear me out, then. So, picture the scene. And by no means am I looking over Rose. But picture the scene. Joanna wins. Joanna versus Shevchenko 125.
That's the only one I could think of that would do it. That would be a massive fight. A massive fight at 125.
Polish and Russian fans.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. And then, okay, so then a co-main event would have to be like a firefight. Probably
it'd be the Russian fans versus the Polish fans. Dude, that's some dark.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, hey. So that was just that. And then the other side is this: that apparently UFC is looking to make the rematch between TJ and Cody.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I saw something though that said
for August.
But yeah, but I saw I saw something that said that like Cody was saying that he was going to be somewhere or something like that, and it was probably looking like he's going to fight TJ or something. I don't know. That was I saw on Twitter. Cody and TJ.
Who's going to fight TJ again?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's dead in the water is TJ DJ.
Oh yeah. DJ wants $5 million, supposedly, something like that.
Get your money either pound for pound. I'm just saying. How would you feel about when's Daniel Cormier Stipe?
226.
Yeah.
Man.
July, that's July.
That's July. That's the July 4th card. The International Fight Week.
Feel about Volkan versus DC?
When?
The Russian card in September.
That's a quick turnaround for a guy like DC.
What, to fight at heavyweight?
Oh, to fight at heavyweight? I don't want to see Volkan at heavyweight.
Oh, well, no, it'd be 205. What am I talking about? Who am I thinking of? That's the heavyweight guy who beat Verdum.
Stipe.
No. Hold up. Who's the guy who just knocked out Verdum?
Not Blachowicz. Oh, fuck. What's it? Volkov.
Is it Volkan or Volkov?
Volkov. Volkan Ozdemir is a 205er.
Yeah, I'm
Volkov. Yeah, Volkov is a heavyweight.
Yeah, so him versus DC or him versus Stipe.
That'd be cool. That would work. Okay, you would have to build that card, I think, particularly well.
Oh, okay. How about this instead then? What about Volkan versus Francis Ngannou?
Oh God! Oh shit! Bruh, trying to murder cats out here.
I'm just trying to see people catch hands. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, fuck. Look, man, you put Francis on any card, they're watching this shit.
So Francis Ngannou versus Volkan is the co-main event. Number one fight gets a shot at the title.
How pissed are you if you're Dana White that Francis Ngannou didn't knock out Stipe Miocic? Like, think about it. Like inside, not outside. Obviously, you're not gonna be like, "Fuck, I can't believe that motherfucker didn't beat him." But inside is like, "God damn it!"
100%. But the thing is, though, is again, it was too much too soon. Like, we knew that the wrestling was going to be the thing. But I will say this though, people make out that Stipe in a quote unquote outright dominated him from beginning to end, and people neglect the fact that Francis Ngannou was still catching Stipe in the 4th and 5th round, and Stipe were on wobbly legs every time he got hit and had to shoot for his fucking life. And I'm not saying that he didn't recover and this, that, and the other, but I'm saying this: you're talking inches some of those shots, and Stipe
Yeah.
would have been down.
Yeah.
And we're not talking once or twice, like a couple lucky shots, Francis Ngannou. No, we're talking every time Ngannou landed a hand on Stipe, he was hurt.
Stipe lost a couple years from high school out of that one. Okay, he got that shit knocked right out of his brain. But he didn't. I want to say he dominated the whole fight, but he dominated a lot of it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm just meaning. I'm not talking about in context of the fight. I'm talking about in context of the memory of the fight. Like people are making out as if like he GSP'd him. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
From minute 1 to fucking minute 25, he completely dominated the fight. I'll put it to you like this: when I say GSP versus GSP versus Dan Hardy, for example.
Yeah.
Dan Hardy hit him once, and that was it. He didn't have any other major offense for that entire 25 minutes. There was a 3-second window where Dan Hardy had him, remotely in trouble. 3 seconds of that. And the rest of the 24 minutes and 57 seconds, nothing. Stipe was getting hit, and there was, moments in the fight where you're going, oh my God, I think Stipe's dead. Like, there was moments. But people are making out as if it was, like I said, 25 minutes of pure dominance.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. People will, what do they say? The victors, right? You always say the history is written by the victors.
Yeah.
And in a way, that's the same thing that happens in combat sports. Hell, in all sports, there's times where people will say that the Kobe Bryant 81-point game was just a mauling. He shot a lot that game. Okay.
Well, shots he had that game.
Exactly. It took 50 shots, mind you, still 81 points. But like the 60-point game that he retired on, like his percentage was dog shit. He had to fire every shot to make that. But you're not gonna remember that. You're gonna remember 60-point game, right? So it's people just memories are created that way. But it's all good.
I just want to jump into 2 little things, and then we'll wrap this up with quick.
Cool.
I want to talk about one of my personal favorite things, and then we'll get into a what the fuck.
Yeah.
Follow that on. One of my favorite things, obviously, we found out that Darren Till and Wonder Boy is a go. It's happening, UFC Liverpool, and we also found out that Molly McCann will also be competing at UFC Liverpool.
Who she got? She got what's her name?
I
had the name down. I can't remember her name.
Hold on.
It's not a noob.
Molly.
That's a crazy fight for her. Like that she gets to do it at Liverpool.
Oh, 100%. Like that's some craziness. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, why are you looking that up?
I went to her page.
Huh?
I went to her page and I can't find it.
Well, because it's probably not like officially set up yet. It's probably like targeted.
Who's the name of shit?
Oh, regardless, she's in there, which is great. Anything on Paddy?
Paddy says that he's going to be in fucking Gillian Robertson.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, yeah.
And that was reported by MMA Kings. And if you know anything about MMA Tour, MMA Kings is 9 times out of 10.
Legit as fuck.
100%. They are the scoop. But they're the plug, as you'd like to say. But apparently he's in Mexico during that time, so he's not going to be fighting. I will alliterate one thing: the fact that he's on like 10 grand plus, and that's not me stretching, the truth. He's on big bucks at Cage Warriors. He's legit their star. He's not going to make. If he's going to make 10 grand fighting for the UFC, he's going to make 5 and 5 if he wins. Like he's not making 10 grand in the sense of I'm getting 10 grand. I get to wear whatever sponsors I want. You know what I mean? Like
he'll make more money at Cage. He's not. He's gonna be the one that when the UFC gets him, his stock's gonna be hard to ignore, and they're gonna have to pay him. They're not gonna be able to bullshit him the way they try to do Ben Askren. They're gonna have to pay him like they paid Sage Northcutt, like all the money right away. So.
I just want to say something as well, because I was watching one of the Keyboard Warrior episodes. And because this had me a little salty. I'm not gonna lie. Just me once this week. But Jesse was talking about the fighter that didn't get paid a proper amount of money.
Right.
And one of the things that annoyed me about that is when it was the thing of living within your means and everything like that. 100% I agree you should live within your means. But he was promised, in quote unquote, he was competing for 5 and 5. So including all his sponsorship money, he was supposed to walk away with 10 grand, you know, if he competed, and you know, his actual money from Reebok and everything else. So the thing is if I said to you right now, here's 10 grand, if you win this, you're going to potentially move on to another 10 grand, or you're going to move on to potentially 15, whatever they're going to move on, depending on how you display yourself. So if you're going to go over to train in the best possible camp that you know that you're going to be able to afford, you know, because you're getting that money, and then you go to compete and you have made the weight, you've turned up for the fight, the fact still remains, and none of this independent contractor bullshit. At the end of the day, they said to him, sign on this dotted line for this amount of money. This is what you're going to get. Turn up. If you turn up, you should be paid your Reebok sponsorship money, because if you're walking around wearing Reebok at every opportunity that they, you know, tell you to and what you're supposed to do, you did your job for Reebok, regardless of if you fought. Like, you did everything you possibly could. There is nothing other than you could have done apart from walking around your opponent and making sure he made weight.
And this is why we need a fighters union.
I 100% agree, but I don't like when people,
I know.
English, I think it's very unfair to make any fighter be told, or for fans, when we're not in the same aspect of line of work as them. I think it's very, very harsh of us to say they don't deserve their money. They went out and signed a contract and completed their contract.
Right.
Within it, there's nothing more than they could do.
Right.
That they should work. That they should work within less means than the money that they're, you know, told they're gonna get. I don't agree with that train of thought. I think it's very unfair to say to a fighter, well, you know, save a little bit of money just in case, because it's like, yeah, but that extra money could potentially, you know, put me on the spot, and it could put me and set me up for life. So why wouldn't I spend money that I technically should have?
No, I'm with you, dude. I didn't fully agree with that, you know, that was
the only thing.
Right. No, and I didn't really agree with the whole independent contractor. You know, you should have known the risk. I think managers should do their fucking jobs. Like I forgot the manager guy. Jesse talks to him all the time. There's a certain manager that works shit like that into their like Uncle Creepy. How many fights did he not make it to? He has his manager. This guy is a manager, and he gets money every time. Like managers, for me. In the situation, if we're gonna work with a situation where we're at right now, there's no fighters union, there's no, you know, set like charter where it's like, okay, well, if your opponent will show up, you get this money. If we're not gonna work with that yet, and we're gonna work with what we got, managers need to be fucking tooth and nail fighting for their fighters. Hey, look, if this guy doesn't turn up, we need this amount of money. This is how much we're spending on camp. This is what we're doing here. We need this amount of money. We're putting in the work to show up and give you the best possible show for your fans, so you guys make money. We need you to work with us for this shit, right?
I agree.
So right now I need that, but this is why I'm not a big fan of unions in a few aspects here, but I do think that the fighters need one, and I think it would benefit them for this exact reason. How many times have we seen like, oh, are they gonna get their bonus? Are they gonna get like at least a show money or something like that? And yeah, show money's great, you know, but I mean, damn, dude, this guy bet on himself.
You
went after
everything that you are owed for the contract that you fulfilled as much as you possibly. You should not be penalized based on the premise of somebody else's mistakes, in my opinion.
Right, and this is mostly a Dana White thing. Yeah. You know, Dana White's been doing this forever, so he maybe he got him used to like you know, should not have gotten them used to getting, you know, like under the table money. You know, that was probably a bad idea, but yeah.
The additional thing I would just want to go back to anyway. Sure. I just wanted to point that out because I think it's very important to put out there, because I think a lot of times as us as fans, we don't think as fighters as people. We think of them as movie stars, video game, you know, characters. We don't think of them as real people, and I think it's very unfair when there's a lot of people like Thundercat from Cage Warriors. He just had a fight where he was going to be, you know, he's put himself in contendership for the welterweight title at Cage Warriors, and then the day after, 2 days after his fight, like technically a day after, he was back to his 9-to-5 job working at a desk. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, hey, you know, I just think it's crazy. So we should.
Neil Seary, dude. Neil Seary won his fight, was working at some warehouse. Like the next day, he's like, all right, I gotta get out of here because I gotta go to work. And I was like, people don't realize that shit because they're technically professional athletes. Like we know professional jiu-jitsu fighters that have 2 jobs. You know what I mean? And they train as much as they can during the week, and still, it's people need to like think. Remember, these people are people. They're not just like. Not everyone's making, GSP McGregor Ronda money.
And I don't want to make this a woe is me thing, but 100% you've got to take into account that for European fighters, especially, like the big money is when, unless you're like the top of the top in, like a Cage Warriors, ACB, etc., you aren't going to get paid. And even then, you're not getting paid ridiculous, quote unquote, ridiculous money in comparison to if you lived in the States and you fought in a UFC card. Like, we've seen Sage Northcutt fight in the prelims and getting paid the same amount of money what top contenders in ACB are getting paid. So I think that in my opinion, American fans don't realize for people in Europe, unless you're in the top 2 or 3 promotions in Europe, you're still only making just what the people on the prelims are making in the UFC. I think that a lot of American fans don't realize that it's not as easy per se. If you make it to the UFC, you have a greater chance because you're already in the States. They can say to you, right, we're going to fly you to Chicago. We're going to fly you to New Jersey. We're going to fly you to fucking Atlanta. I don't know, anywhere in the States. Do you know what I mean? And we can have you go there. Whereas you have to wait for a couple shows a year that are going to be in Europe to showcase your talents.
Check this out. This is from Brad. He says, true story. Went out in Wales after a show once, and a fighter who had competed that night was working the door of the club. If that doesn't tell you what fighting really is, ladies and gentlemen, at least in MMA, I don't know what to tell you. So, yeah.
Like I say, I don't think Americans realize how, the land of opportunity, like you guys always say, like all that kind of stuff. It really is. It is a legit thing for you guys in the UK. Well, in Europe, should I say? There's a real struggle.
It's always, there's so many differences that everyone takes for granted. They don't understand situations for different spots.
Just to kind of put this out there, just before we go to our subjects, how excited are you for Darren Till Wonderboy that he's finally?
Dude, I'm pumped as fuck for the fight, and I was just like, holy shit! Finally, we're gonna get to see this fight. And then Wonderboy says something to the effect of, this is a bad fight for Darren Till. Like,
I heard that he said that he didn't know who Darren Till was, and I was like, fuck you.
Oh, hey, time out. Somebody on Twitter right now, go find the clip, the first clip I want you to find. Find the clip of Cowboy Cerrone saying that shit. And then 2, get the clip of Darren Till finishing said Cowboy, okay? And then put those together and send it to Wonderboy. And tell him, hey, how about don't?
What amazes me most about him making that statement is one thing and one thing only. Cowboy is a very well-known, respected name in mixed martial arts. Like 99% of people who are into MMA know who he is.
Oh, for sure.
Turn around and say that you don't know who an underdog who had, on paper, quote unquote, didn't have a chance of beating Cowboy, flatlined him within the first 2 minutes, and made this big, massive pop and put on, this pedestal of the next prospect from Europe. To say that you didn't hear about him or know who he is absolutely the most utter garbage I've ever heard. And I'm really surprised that Wonderboy came out with that, because he doesn't seem like he's... If it had been Masvidal, I'd have gone, I see what you're doing, motherfucker.
Yeah.
But
I think
come on.
I think he's salty that he knows he probably won't get a third shot at Woodley, win or lose. I mean, especially lose, but win. I don't think he'll get a third one. Real quick, tell me what you think of this. SureDog, this is from SureDog.com on Twitter. It says Dana White. Basically, this is what Dana White said. Basically says UFC 223 is currently trending to be the biggest pay-per-view since UFC 205.
Apparently,
so you buy that shit.
As far as social media, yeah, because let's be completely honest, we were all talking about Khabib Ferguson
like a motherfucker,
like religiously, because we thought, holy shit, we're finally going to get it.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been talking about Joanna and Rose. Like, let's not beat around the bush. A lot of people are excited for that fight. Matt Brown and Conor got pulled. So, there's a lot. And let's not forget that over this past 2 or 3 days, Max coming in, Conor tweeting, Nate tweeting, because they're things that are taken into account because of that. You know, these clickbait websites take those 2 fucking tweets and make 100, 200, 300, you know, character fucking articles about them. So more and more and more and more social media trends and stuff like that, it doesn't surprise me in the slightest. With that same thing said, I can't say I'm vastly surprised. And then, you know, the Khabib Artem little spat or something that happened earlier, like all of these things culminate to make social media wise it a big deal. Now, my question is going to be, though, it's all good and well it being trending high on social media and this, that, and the other. But are people going to put their hands in the pockets and actually purchase the pay-per-view, or are they going to be streaming it?
It's okay. So people used to buy the pay-per-view a week out, right? But now with how many fights have been pulled, people wait till like literally like hours before, sometimes minutes before. I don't buy every pay-per-view I bought about 10 minutes before it went live. Yeah. Main event, right? Or main card. Because of the possibility of losing fights and shit. So I don't think he's got that many pre-buys or pre-orders, whatever you want to call them. I think you're right. He's going off to complete social media stuff. But look, this is still gonna be a big card. I just think it's gonna.
I'm not shitting. I'm just saying that.
Right. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, it still is just like, come on, dog. So
right.
The other thing too. What? No, real quick. It bothers me that Dana White said that because I for some of it I don't believe it for whatever reason. Dana White said at the press conference that the Hawaii event was going to happen and that the Hawaii Tourism Board shut it down.
Yeah,
I don't buy that for a second.
I do, because apparently they're notorious for it, because there's been numerous events. I know WWE tried to go there once and do like a
really?
show, and they couldn't. It's ridiculous how much they want to try and make you pay to get like a license over there.
Oh, then.
I'll put it this way. This is one reason why I'm going to say this. WWE for a long period of time didn't go back to Madison Square Garden because the rent for the building and the rights to record in that building was so high that they didn't go there for, I believe it was around about 5 years at one point.
No shit.
So if it cost that much to record in there and WWE weren't willing to fuck with it, imagine how much it'd cost you. And bear in mind that it's a big company, you know what I mean? It's a very big company as far as around the world, globally. And they couldn't even fuck with Hawaii.
Yeah, let me ask you this real quick before we go. And I know you have one more thing. Who does better numbers, like views-wise? UFC 223 or what I forgot was happening on Sunday, WrestleMania?
WrestleMania. But wait, I just want to say this. It won't do as many pay-per-view buys purely in the simple fact that they have the network. And why would you pay? Why would you pay $60?
Exactly.
In your
but that's why I'm saying views, like viewer wise.
100%. I'll put it like this. I bet you. I'll put you this out.
Yeah.
I bet you that the Ronda Rousey match, like the clips that'll come from the Ronda Rousey match with Kurt Angle against Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, I bet they will have more views on YouTube for those videos than the YouTube videos for the highlights of the Khabib Max Holloway.
1000%, I agree. By the way, best meme of this week, or whenever this Raw thing happened where Ronda Rousey went through a table. I love the memes that come out of that thing. Like that face you make when you really got to poop and someone's in the bathroom. What's the other one?
She took the bump though. Credit to her.
Oh no, 100% credit. Yeah. I credit for that. I didn't expect it to happen. But it was funny because people were like, I saw people breaking the whole move down little by little, and they were like, I'm not impressed. She didn't go that high. She kind of like hit awkwardly and a bunch of this shit. And I'm like, they're still girls. She's not fucking LeBron James trying to jump up in the fucking air.
The thing is, though, don't you think it's amazing that people who focus on MMA are still watching what she does? That's
it's because they're full of shit, bro. Like, how many? You and I were talking about. Fuck it, let's get real. You and I were talking about earlier how about MMA Twitter fucking blows right now. Like it fucking sucks. There's literally a handful of you guys that I fuck with on a daily, and you guys are the fucking shit. But most of MMA Twitter fucking blows.
the
Jesus.
amount of people that are clout chasing by posting memes and edgy tweets that are just derogatory towards anybody that's remotely popular, and then sucking the dick of whoever is the current hype train, whether it be Max Holloway this week. And I like Max Holloway, by the way. I just want to throw that.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing 1,000 tweets and 1,000 memes and 1,000 gifs of how big his balls are. Like, get off of his balls. Like, just chill. Like, there's so many people who, like, every time, like, we've discussed it before. How many of you guys were John Jones fans before you found out he got popped for steroids against DC? Oh, you were all John Jones fans just before that. And then how many of you were all claiming that Mighty Mouse was the greatest in the entire world when he just pulled off that Mighty Whiz or whatever, Mousetrap, whatever you want to reference it as? All of you were calling him the greatest of all time. And then 2 weeks later, you're jumping on DC's dick after months of calling him, fake. And for me personally, that's what bums me out the most, that there's too many clout chasers. I feel like the MMA, you know what, I'm going to make a bold statement. And, when people like this or not, I'm going to throw this out there because I was thinking about this the other day. And I'm going to genuinely say this. You know what ruined MMA? MMA Twitter.
Dude, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Social media murdered MMA.
No, not social media. MMA Twitter, because
Twitter specifically.
When you look at Instagram, it's not that bad. You know what I mean? There's a few people who go back and forth and stuff like that, but it's just kind of is what it is. Nobody really cares. Facebook, they're hacking shit. Nobody really goes on Facebook anymore. But fucking MMA Twitter, man, like the move from one to the other is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, people just ride that wave from the next. Like, they're worse than surfers. They go from one wave to the next wave.
Yeah.
There's no. I don't think these fans are fans of anybody. They're fans of whoever is famous at the time and whoever.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm not about that life, man. Like, I put it this way: I'm not gonna ride the dick of Max Holloway because he's jumped on this 6-day notice. Do I respect him as a fighter? Do I like him as a fighter? Yes.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, is like, I was a Brian Ortega fight when he was fucking going from chain submission to chain submission to chain submission fucking 5 years ago. Like, I was a fan of him then, and I'm going to ride that then. I'm going to ride that now. And that's just how it is. Same with Conor. Like, I was there before the train. I was there on the Ronda thing literally just before the bubble popped. But, I'm going to stick with it, and I'm not going to turn around. Joanna, I still think Joanna's one of the... I still argue Joanna is the baddest chick on the planet. Like, I can't ever put Cyborg above because of her past, and I can't because of the competition that she's faced. So that's just my opinion, and I believe that, and I'm not going to change that just because, she beat some random chick from Invicta. I'm not on this train that everybody else did, but I'm genuinely going to put that out there that the thing that killed MMA over this past year since the bubble popped is the amount of fuckery from, and UFC's had the hand in it. Don't get it wrong. Like, they haven't helped. Like, they could have done things differently. But 100% for me, I personally think that MMA fans on Twitter killed MMA because there's shit over everything.
It's burnt me out of like MMA Twitter, and sometimes I don't even want to talk MMA, dude. Sometimes I'm just like, fuck it, I'm not even gonna touch it. Like, seriously, there's times where I won't tweet shit. I used to tweet all day long, right? And then, the last few months, like, I tweet maybe like 3-4 times a day. And then I'll shoot the shit with you on DM and like a few other people. But it's just like, it gets exhausting. You can't tweet anything without people just jumping on it all fucking like stupid without real points, just being cunts. It's just really weird. And again, fucking shout out to all you motherfuckers that I fuck with on a daily because you guys are the shit. But there's a lot of people out there that's just like, dude, come on, man.
I've got to just put this last one out there and then we'll wrap this up with a quickness. Cool. Did you see that Sug Submission Underground is doing a tag team jiu-jitsu tournament?
Bruh.
You know all those videos you guys see, like the one that's recently floating about that it happened, like, I think it was like 5 years ago. And if Brad's watching, Brad Wharton, who tweeted us just now, if you can remember round about when that was. But in the UK, they did like, I think it was called Ultra Ball or something like that. And it was basically MMA rugby that's kind of doing the rounds again. Why are we, like, Chaelson's a smart guy, and I know obviously we're talking about, so he kind of gets his win in a sense, but like, I'm not going to pay to watch it, so he's not going to win because I'm not going to watch it. You know what I mean? Like, I might watch the highlights on a video on Twitter or something, but I ain't going to watch it. I'm not going to pay for it. But like, why are we even still doing in 2018 like legit WWE-esque things like a jiu-jitsu tag team tournament? Like that's going to be so clunky and awkward and just why?
Yeah, dude, I don't know. It's Ultimate Ball, Sport of Kings is what he said.
Oh my god, like
Sport of Kings.
oh my, well, rugby sucks for the most part anyway. It's as bad as your American football. It's just without pads.
I don't mind rugby. I really don't. I actually kind of like it sometimes.
My friend went, right? My friend went to a game the other day. And it was that rainy here that literally it was like the mud splashes from the players running in it was about chest height. The splashes from the mud. Like, that's how fucking rainy and muddy one of the grounds was. And like he said, like I don't understand why they didn't call it off because players were slipping all over the place.
Yeah.
Like they were like fucking hitting on the ground. And these are big lads. These are like fucking 18 stone guys. These are heavyweights essentially.
Yeah, dude, I don't fucking know. Sorry, someone popped up a video on Facebook. It's like it says father slowly dies inside after his teenage daughter gets engaged.
What?
I don't know. It just popped up out of nowhere. Wow, Khabib suddenly no shows, locates today's UFC obligations. UFC officials cannot locate him. But he was at the fucking press conference.
Yeah, he disappeared earlier on today.
Yeah, I wonder why though.
Well, I think he just did it to fuck with everybody, if I'm being completely honest.
All right. Well,
I think he was trying to fuck with everybody.
Maybe. He was just like, April Fools. April Fools, 4 days later, yeah.
Oh, dear God.
Anyway, all right, bruh.
With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap this up with the quickness. Shout out to our sponsors, Bain, Jiu-Jitsu Athletic Apparel. If you want to get your rash guard on strong, spats, hoodies, even those beautiful mugs with the white belt tiers, head over to bainstore.com. That's BAIN store.com. Use the code with the heel hook, all one word. 10% off your entire order. Stack that up. Get as many as you want. Buy your girlfriend, your mother, your boyfriend, I don't know, whatever you're into. And get that 10% off. Secondly, make sure you always check out Receptor as well. I implore you, the amount of people that are getting on the CBD train is for good reason. I know that even USADA apparently have taken CBD off of their albumin. Yeah. Pointed that out, I believe, earlier on in the MMA hour, earlier on this week. So, if you're a fighter or an athlete or anything like that, or even you're just a non-person who's just trying to sort out your body and your mind, man, and you want to get a little bit healthier, I couldn't recommend it more than taking painkillers and, your aspirins and all that kind of other bullshit. Kick that all to the side. Get your CBD oils or your balms if you don't want to use a dropper. Check out Receptra Naturals. That's RECEPTRA, naturals.com. Use the code word the heel hook for a 10% code off all your entire order. And if you are out of the United States, if you contact them on Twitter or on Instagram, which is also Receptor Naturals, that's RECEPTRA, tell them that the heel channel sent you, and they will also sort you out with a delivery discount, so you don't get charged an amazing fee, because they do have distributors in Europe, so they will be able to hook you up if you're over this side of the pond. So that's a beautiful thing. So make sure you hit up Receptor Naturals on social media if you do need to sort out getting your shipment outside of the United States over this side of the pond. If you are in the United States, you don't have to worry about that. Just hit them up with a 10% code. All you guys, whether you're in Europe or in the United States, get 10% off. Heel hook, blah blah blah. Where you at?
Unless you're a cunt, you can follow me on Twitter at Elaw31. You can follow me on Instagram at Keyboard Warriors MMA. And Keyboard Warriors MMA.com, MMA.live. Sorry, Keyboard Warriors MMA.live in about 2.5 hours to come hang out with us on Keyboard Warriors tonight. We're talking about everything we talked about tonight and more. So if you're up late over on your side, or if you're on our time, then hey, welcome, motherfuckers. So yeah.
Man, legit. Again, shout out for all you guys coming up and hitting in the chat. Shout out to Raider. Shout out to
UZ.
There you go. He already hit me up with the quickness. But yeah, thank you guys for coming through on the chat. Also, shout out to Brad from Cage Warriors for hitting us up with all the info, with all of his knowledge and tuning. And also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Leave a like on this, comment, tell a friend to tell a friend, my guys. Also, follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram, The Heel Channel. You can find us on Twitter, which is The Heel Channel _. We're on iTunes and on SoundCloud, the Heel channel. You can find us on Twitch, which is also the Heel channel. I was streaming A Way Out on PS4. I might be doing some Fortnite either tonight or tomorrow on there. Additional to that, make sure you follow me at Lamprey. That's ASHLEYLAMPREY, and that is on Twitter, and that is on Instagram, and you can find me at Just Ash Official, and that is on Snapchat, my guy. Yeah. So other than that, thank you all for tuning in. So whether you're a lover, fighter, or a hater, peace up. Hey, down. Yeah, I got you then. I put the pause in there, my guy.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
We're at this.
Peace, bitch.